Anapede, Nanapo Namho, where the Nakupimu.
Oh, sir, unim sir Public Accounts Committee.
Ah.
Na yɛbɔ pro.
Okay.
Esan sɛ yɛntumi nka sɛ all the institutions audited by the Auditor General as per law no. Wɔn nyinaa mmra nkran no. We usually have a program where we divide the country into zones. And we are looking at the district, municipal, and metropolitan assemblies, colleges of education, technical universities, and pre-tertiary educational institutions, otherwise known as secondary and secondary technical schools. So we did a northern zone. No, from Tamale. Now all the regions in the northern part of the country, they come there. Then we do the middle belt. Then we come to the eastern zone where we are now. If we have western zone, then we would have covered the entire nation for the 2021 Auditor General's report.
Interesting. Doc, you didn't come out first some of the pronouncements a flag bearer of the NDC, John Mahama, make here. One is gotten a lot of us talking. The promise said some of the banks are withdraw one more license. If you my merge one more into banks and then one more the ones that were wrongfully dissolved, one more and as a party in power, you reinstate them. And you be on the way, and you can watch them say, now, which of them would be considered, say, wrongfully be dissolved?
Well, first of all, this is my first public comment since your primaries. I think it's in order. Sir, Mede, Asida Kesina, Uchirian Ponyankupongde, NDC, National, Regional, and Constituency Executives. Na mabo rank and file sono, mabo mabaso, Miami Bulsa South. No somebody I call unopposed. But even so, no. Na ma said ye, sir, met me ama Mampeni, John Mahama. I would GDA say, Onona, a Bejigana see 100%. Ye 100% no mum, ye 99.3. Mencroft no beye and 9. One more vote 2 essay ballots no. Average na the national average John Mahama enya na. Mejiri say it is in sync. And no obi a onim amanyosem anase oye political scientist ebe catch say it is clear, it is resolute. And Echinebia now say John Mahama and NDC yagina tum pa say onona yetani chia ijuma ewo I was say na me 2024 na juma na Ghana for wayaw abenedie ene say the sikasam atetia pansam adisua ho sam atochima apomudin sam atochima yensuo ne yekwaye yese no ene amamu okura ekoso a ayatru kan tantan a apede wiase nyina Ghana yede ye asresem no yenim say ono na obetumi abekrakra sa ne mani nyina. Having said that, make me akensi so so hwe nsem na John Mahama ekaye abrana oye ne acceptance speech na edoso. But then say the over frame no kofa banks you two you collapse banks no and asema we be say say utie papa no na say o kind your kind na utumi say he was not saying say every single bank. He said those that were unjustly. That should tell you, sir, he is aware that nye bank bia ene eni ho ena esefata se ono ba odin lances no ebema no. But at the same time no afia na yahia se se nya manifesto. It is political no. You cannot expect him to drill deep and give you specifics. And he has given you the broad picture. Some ba we na maybe maye. When shuna medebeye engina so. As we go along no, he will then drill it deep and let you know. Say bank A, B, and C. Akufo-Addo bamia omo baye. Omo document abeto dwa. Ejapade say one of the ways that they want to capture the state and control political power in the country includes the collapsing of banks. It's in that document. And omodi osienso eye oyo. Of the battle, I can tell you, sir, I'm not in the banking sector, but I know that there were certain banks that were collapsed that clearly ought not to have been collapsed. By standard now, omodi collapsing banks, you know. So the question then becomes, why is it that certain banks were left to thrive under the same conditions that certain banks were closed down? These are the questions that Ghanaians ought to ask. And I didn't, and I say, banking sector, it was so bad that the total cost involved in keeping the banks going was 9 billion. But we ended up spending 25 billion to collapse banks and microfinance institutions. I mean, who does that? How would you spend 9 billion, 25 billion to solve a 9 billion problem? So the point that I'm trying to make is that so we share the whole regime, the way it was done. At that time, now you see what Amanone, America, any Canada, any UK. Yeah, catch them with a monshare or home poa. Omona, Yenina, you munimidi. I share free omuho. When their banking sectors were challenged. Sammy, they didn't collapse the banks. What did they do? What they did was that they supported the banks to survive and thrive. And then they went on to punish the boards, the governing bodies of the banks. That is what should have been done. The management of the bank and the board of the bank, they have misconducted themselves in Intino. You are closing the banks. When you could have come in to support the banks and then punish the leadership of the banks and allow the banks to thrive, you rather went on to collapse them and you paid more money to undertake an exercise of this nature.
The question
so clearly,
question will be baby Doc, and they say at the time the NDC administration decided to support some of these banks here a collapse, our more a financial supporter. Later reports says some of these monies were diverted into private accounts. One of the issues was corporate governance systems, any supervisory role of the Bank of Ghana. And it's a number one by Mono. When you know, it's not a moment to me and you are, and I wish you many bits in your banks now, you are more, a bit more, you consolidate your mono, but me restore.
First of all, I made the pass, Okase, you in good banks, I made the pass, Okase, na aban, Edaho air bois banks, and that is the approach to use. You don't collapse, you don't throw away the baby with the bathwater. You try to find a way of cleaning the baby and throwing the bathwater away. So we were in the processes of addressing all of these issues. They could have adopted an approach that was not as draconian and expensive. They could have adopted an approach that was also fair. So the issue of fairness, is the reason why John Mahama talks about unjustly. Because Bank A ni Bank B, woman, you know, excuse my language, so Omabru Pepper. I didn't know cheap bank A, Echo Tumo, and our bank B. I didn't know Pino Munari or Moboye. So there are serious issues with regards to the way the exercise was conducted, the motivation behind the exercise, the fairness of the exercise, and the justification of the exercise. And you know, as we are moving along, no, Mijidi say, O Mampeni, Dada, John Mahama, Afedi, Yetuni say, Onya, Frankatuni, Emma, NDC, no, he will give further and better particulars. But when him say, Ghana consolidated bank now, also my formula.
Yeah.
Go and look at their books. Do you know that their balance sheet indicates that they have lost over 3 billion? 3 billion. So how do they explain that? Muna Musimunim, you say you have the men and the women. So after wasting 25 billion to solve a 9 billion problem, after collapsing banks and forming a consolidated bank, that consolidated bank today is in the red in excess of 3 billion Ghana cedis. It is a koyana say buy.
All right, Doc, and the permit was is watching men and meeting come on.
Maybe studio I check to me pemre.
Mate, I'll be
because education so nyoma be good hopa.
I'll be glad.
Me no can say capitation grade in ayo.
Edinho.
And many of the basic schools they are not functioning. Even electricity corporation, GRA in net konomo. The few basic schools that have electricity, no, they are disconnecting them because the headmasters cannot pay electricity bills because of the lack of remittance of the, or they say, capitation grant. In some doors.
You ever do a